I'm Adil Wali. I'm the Chief Product Officer here at Klaviyo. And Klaviyo thinks of ourselves as, the only CRM that's built for B2C brands. And so what that means is, we're bringing together marketing capabilities, analytics, service all into one platform. And the goal is that businesses are able to sort of better understand their customer, drive up lifetime value, and sort of engage with their customer using, the data that they have. So that's using sort of AI and our built-in data to provide the best possible experience. My role at Klaviyo, as the chief product officer, I'm, accountable for our product, our design, our research functions. We have a qualitative research function that we do. We also, are driving product analytics. So that's looking at insights from the data that we have about our customers, how to make the product better. We also have a strategy organization inside of product, and we have corporate development. So we're looking at, if we're not going to be building something, if it makes sense to, buy or partner, that's another part of the organization. And so the responsibilities really cut across short-term and long-term strategy, and then ultimately our product output. Like, what are we shipping? How do we stay competitive in the market? How do we build the best products that drive the most value for our customers? I have been an entrepreneur for most of my adult life. I started my first company 25 years ago now. And so, my first couple businesses were sort of like in the agency landscape, and then I did 3 venture-backed businesses. And so for me, my first job, really, the first time I wasn't a founder of the place I was working, was at Meta, where I ran the fintech organization. And so what really drew me to Klaviyo was 2 things. One, my first venture-backed business was one of Klaviyo's early customers many, many years ago. This is like 2012, 2013. It was a company called ModCloth. And we were one of Klaviyo's first customers, years back. And of course, tracked and followed the company over the years, and really have been impressed by what the company has been able to do, not only in the core product, but as it starts to sort of expand into new spaces. And, for me, looking at the business, I think Klaviyo is really at a unique place of scale, right? Right around sort of $1 billion of ARR, and really still feeling though like it's at this ground floor place, right? Like, there's so much more to do for the business. There's so much more growth. And so that to me was particularly interesting, right? Like a core product that has really high product market fit, but a company that's, aggressive and still taking, many shots on goal with new products. That to me was really appealing, and it felt like sort of a special time to be here. So that was ultimately what drew me here. There's a lot going on at Klaviyo right now in terms of product development and sort of launching new capabilities, right? And we're a company of builders, right? So and that for me as an entrepreneur was really important. Being at a company that's still founder-led, that has the 2 founders in the business, there's a real focus on innovation, building new things, and creating value, for our customers. So there's a bunch of things that we're working on. The first, I think I would say, if you sort of step back, we have this CRM, framing around what we're doing, right? We're building sort of the first, B2C CRM for D2C brands. And so there's a bunch of features that round out our capabilities that help us provide value there, right? So the first is, we are launching a whole new set of experiences in the service arena, right? So we have a customer hub product, we have a unified inbox product, and AI agents. All of that is launching this year, right? And so putting that together with what we already have in retention marketing, I think is really interesting, because it allows, Klaviyo to sort of be this nucleus or command center that you can sort of drive engagement with your customers, whether that's, helping them find a product that they love and buy for the first time, or if it's, hey, they have an issue and they want to, engage with support, and turning that into sort of like a wow moment experience. All of that, we're bringing into one place, which I think is really exciting. On the AI side, I would say that we think about AI, pretty holistically. So I think there's AI in a bunch of parts of our experience today, and there's lots of features we've shipped around that I think are part of the everyday Klaviyo experience, right? So things like smart send time on messaging, or recommended product blocks, or even like the next recommended product for a specific user. All of those things that we can deliver to folks, in real time, I think is really powerful. I think another category of feature innovation for us is sort of adding channels to the experience. So where we are, wherever the customer is, right? We of course started the business focused primarily on email. More recently, we have an SMS offering, which is expanded to now include RCS, and we have WhatsApp in private beta. And so really showing up wherever the customer is, I think, is really important. And so that's sort of another key category of investment. And then I think the last piece for us is that sort of like analytics and insights piece, right? So we have a marketing analytics product that helps customers, understand the data in their business, understand, what products are selling, how they're resonating with customers, and then help them take action, right, based on those insights. And so that's really kind of how I would bucket the work we're doing today across all those categories. So it is a lot. And I think that, the last piece on AI, I think I would add is, there's sort of this path that you see today with how fast AI is changing the landscape. I think people are looking for a product that either, is like a do it with me or do it for me. And I think I would say we're aiming to innovate in both of those vectors, right? Because I do think many people, I think, are looking for a co-pilot-like experience, right? They actually want to have the AI sort of help them. And then other folks kind of want to take their hand off the wheel a little bit and say, hey, I actually really want you to help me achieve this business objective, and I want to review the results. And so we're working aggressively on both those types of capabilities as well. I think that right now is a particularly great time to join Klaviyo for a handful of reasons. I think the first is this unique place in time, right? I think there are not that many founder-led companies of our size, right, that are, recently public. The founders are still in the business, still very active, and we're very hungry, we're ambitious. There's a culture of sort of intensity that permeates, these four walls, and I think that's really important. Having that kind of founder mindset in the business, right? Particularly for product folks, by the way, because I do think founder-led companies show up differently for product folks than they do with maybe professional management. But also we have this really powerful platform for innovation, right? This core product, very high product market fit, more than 169,000 customers today, right? Like top brands all over the world. Like we have like Glossier, Mattel, Daily Harvest, all these companies are using Klaviyo to drive growth, which is an awesome platform for us to innovate on top of, right? To launch net new features and capabilities using that core platform. And I think the last bit here that I think is particularly important is, especially with what's happening in AI, Klaviyo at its core is a data company, right? We started the business with this focus on what today we call the KDP, or the Klaviyo Data Platform, and every one of our capabilities sits on top of that, right? So like you've got this marketing set of capabilities, you've got service, you've got analytics, all these things are powered by this, core Klaviyo Data Platform. And I think the reason that's important, in my experience, having done AI at scale, AI is only as powerful or as good as the data behind it. And I think that's what makes, right now a particularly exciting moment for, AI innovation at Klaviyo.